Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're located today. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Eliot Harper, and I'm a senior marketing technology architect at CloudKettle. I'm very active in the user community, and I've been using Salesforce Marketing Cloud for almost a decade now. I've also written books on Marketing Cloud, and I'm really excited to be presenting this first of a 4-part webinar series on mastering Einstein for Salesforce Marketing Cloud today. Before we begin, I just want to explain this is a live webinar and I'm really keen to answer your questions. But to help the session flow, I won't be pausing to accept questions. Instead, you can post your questions to the Q&A panel, which you'll find in the bottom tray in the Zoom application, and I'll answer them at the end. One of our partners at CloudKettle, John McGinley, will review them during the session and respond. Well, let's begin. In this session, I'll be introducing Einstein engagement frequency and Einstein engagement scoring for Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Additionally, I'll also touch on the Einstein split activity and send time optimization for Journey Builder, as these two activity types leverage the same data models as engagement frequency and engagement scoring and complement Einstein's predictive capabilities. For each of these topics, I'll explain what the features are, why you would or should use them, and how they actually work. I'll also discuss how you can leverage these features to their full potential by highlighting common use cases and implementation best practices. And finally, I'll provide an insight into upcoming product enhancements that we can expect to see in future releases. So, how can you access Einstein in Marketing Cloud? Well, Einstein features are available from both the Einstein menu and from Einstein Overview, which appears in the Einstein menu in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. This provides a dashboard indicating overview metrics for each enabled Einstein feature and also indicates which features haven't yet been enabled. Moving your cursor over each metric reveals related summary data. And you can also conveniently navigate to Einstein features right from the Einstein Overview menu. Let's now take a look at Einstein engagement frequency in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Einstein engagement frequency is included in Corporate and Enterprise Marketing Cloud editions and is also available as a paid option in the Professional edition. With customers receiving more messages to their inbox than ever before, marketers need a better way to manage their email engagement strategy. This feature provides an insight of how many emails you should be sending to your subscribers. And, similar to frequency capping, the feature allows marketers to understand the optimal number of sends and at what point subscribers are becoming oversaturated or where they're becoming under-messaged. Essentially, it identifies the sweet spot of your email to send ratio, allowing you to send the right number of messages to optimize engagement, while also reducing the chance of email fatigue. Einstein engagement frequency includes a dashboard that enables marketers to compare send frequency and engagement trends, and view a distribution of email sends and subscriber engagement over a period of time. It also provides suggestions on the optimal frequency range of emails to maximize engagement goals. And it enables you to control who should be included and excluded from being sent emails by creating data extensions for over and under message subscribers to either suppress or add them to future sends, so you can send the right number of messages to optimize email engagement. So why should you use Einstein engagement frequency? Well, in summary, the feature helps marketers reduce unsubscribes by identifying oversaturated subscribers and tap into additional sales opportunities by finding undersaturated ones. Let's now take a closer look at how this feature works. Firstly, Einstein analyzes the past 90 days of subscribers' email engagement data, including sends, clicks, opens, and unsubscribes by business unit. And it does this by factoring the time-stamped email send data for each subscriber, which is then overlaid with engagement data, that is, email opens and clicks. Users can control the look-back period, either 30, 60, or 90 days, the email classification, that is, commercial or all, and the optimization objective. And you can further refine the email frequency range, or number of emails that the algorithm optimizes for, by selecting upper and lower limits for the look-back period if there's a particular frequency band you want to focus on. The optimization objective helps marketers to optimize the overall engagement. This could be based on email open rate, or clicks, or unsubscribes, or all three of these options. On adjustments, recommendations are recalculated and reflected in real time. It's important to note that the model currently calculates the optimal frequency globally by business unit, and not by audience, campaign, or individual subscribers. However, the model will be changing in an upcoming release, which I'll explain later. So, how does it work? Well, this feature serializes the data into two data extensions. One for subscribers who received too few emails, that is, undersaturated subscribers, which can be used as a send to list, and a separate data extension for subscribers that received too many email messages, or oversaturated subscribers, which can be used as an exclusion list. Both of these data extensions are refreshed daily, and the model is refreshed weekly. Optimal frequency bands are calculated in real time based on subscriber interactions. For example, Einstein may recommend an email frequency of 40 to 56 emails over 30 days. Einstein engagement frequency uses a daily scheduled automation to calculate these scores, and the same automation is used by Einstein send time optimization and Einstein engagement scoring. Therefore, you should not deactivate or modify this automation. This feature is not enabled by default. You'll need to activate it in each required business unit by opening the application and clicking the Activate Einstein Engagement Frequency button. The activation process requires up to 72 hours to complete. Let's now take a look at Einstein Engagement Frequency in action. To get started with Einstein Engagement Frequency, select the application from the Einstein menu in Marketing Cloud. Let's start by filtering the look-back period to the past 30 days. This dashboard features a bar and histogram chart that shows email engagement as a function of email sends. On the bottom axis here is the total number of unique emails, and the left vertical axis displays the number of subscribers that were sent an email. Here we can see that we've got a significant number of undersaturated subscribers, as over 900,000 subscribers only received one email in this period. Einstein instantly predicts the improvement you should see in your chosen metrics, and based on this sample data, this scenario shows by increasing the sending frequency to 2 emails would marginally increase open rates, as we see up here. From this dashboard, we can define our optimization objective, either open rate, click rate, or we can create a weighted optimization metric that combines both open, click, and unsubscribes. The open and click rate values are cumulative percentage of 100%. The unsubscribe value down here enables us to set a penalty value based on the influence that subscribers have on engagement frequency. A higher penalty value will give it a stronger preference to frequencies with lower unsubscribe rates. Einstein automatically determines the optimum, minimum, and maximum number of emails to send, but you can override these threshold values. For example, if you have knowledge that the model might not be considering, like business seasonality effects. Once we've defined our look-back period and optimization objective, we can schedule the 2 target data extensions to be updated by clicking the Update Data Extensions button. As you can see, Einstein Engagement Frequency is an easy-to-use feature for determining the right number of messages to optimize subscriber engagement. But what are some of the ways that you can use these 2 data extensions? Well, there are actually many different use cases. Firstly, remember that these two data extensions contain not only subscriber records to include for undersaturated subscribers or exclude for oversaturated subscribers, but also the raw calculated data. In turn, you can leverage this data to drive personalization or further segment your audience. For example, perhaps you want to offer a discount for customers, but loyalist customers who have a high open and click rates will have a greater propensity to buy. So you might want to consider not offering them the discount if they're likely to purchase anyway. Or you might want to identify new sales opportunities by identifying engaged but undersaturated subscribers and overlay this data with their purchase data to offer product recommendations or targeted promotions. Or perhaps you want to ensure that your oversaturated subscribers are automatically excluded from receiving commercial emails for the period that while they're in the oversaturated data extension. You could create an automation and using a query activity to return the subscriber's email address, then update an auto-suppression list. Now, let's take a look at Einstein engagement scoring. Einstein engagement scoring is a predictive segmentation tool for Marketing Cloud that predicts how your audience is going to engage with your email marketing campaigns and programs over the next 14 days. And once you can predict what an individual will do, you can segment your target audience and personalize content to be more relevant and effective. Einstein engagement scoring provides three key benefits. Firstly, it enables you to discover what customers will do next. Einstein scores every individual subscriber based on their likelihood to open an email, click, stay subscribed, and convert. Next, you can gain audience insights by understanding factors that predict engagement, identify trends, and measure audience health, so you can see how you're engaging with your audience and how they're engaging with you. And finally, it provides actionable data through creating individually addressable segments which are organized into target personas. You can then take action on this data using the Einstein split activity in Journey Builder to put customers on the right path based on their persona and predicted behavior, optimizing the journey for each individual contact. But how does it work? Well, Einstein engagement scoring helps you to determine the likelihood of customers to engage with email and convert on your website. And it does this by analyzing the past 90 days of subscribers' email engagement data. For example, sends, clicks, and opens from individual subscribers. Einstein then uses over 50 engagement influencers, both at a send and user level. For example, a viewing device, their email domain, and engagement recency, to score the subscribers based on their likelihood to engage in a given email or goal, such as opening emails, clicking links, or making purchases. Subscribers are then grouped into recognizable personas based on their likely to open and click engagement behavior into loyalists. So these are subscribers with a high open and click engagement. Window shoppers. So these are subscribers with a high open and low click engagement. Selective subscribers, which are subscribers with a low open and high click engagement. And finally, win back and dormant, which are subscribers with a low open and click engagement. These segment scores are based on industry open, click, and retention rates. Predictions are also made by the model over the next 14 days for individual subscribers who are likely to open, are likely to click, are likely to say subscribed, and are likely to purchase. Individual scores are recalculated daily by business unit. This is intentional as some business units are used for sandbox environments, so you only want to score by business units that are actively sending. The raw scoring data is updated at individual subscriber levels in predictive scores data extension. The model is retrained on a monthly frequency. Also, note that web conversion predictions require that the collect tracking code to be set up on your website. Now, similar to Einstein engagement frequency, this feature is not enabled by default. You'll need to activate it in each required business unit by opening the application and clicking the Activate Einstein Engagement Scoring button. Einstein requires historical subscriber engagement data, including at least 1,000 events in the past 90 days before activation. So if you're new to Marketing Cloud, the system could take up to 90 days to generate initial scores. Otherwise, scores are typically available within 24 to 48 hours after implementation. Einstein sends an email notification once your scores are available. Let's now take a look at how to use Einstein engagement scoring. To get started with Einstein engagement scoring, we're going to select the application from the Einstein menu in Marketing Cloud. This page displays a dashboard that provides an insight for engagement scoring. We can see that there are 16 individually addressable segments in this matrix, which represents the likelihood to click versus likelihood to open. And these are aligned with the 4 personas I explained earlier, which are identified when I can move over the respective matrix areas. These persona counts can be displayed either as a cumulative number of all subscribers or as an actual audience percentage. The 4 prediction cards on the dashboard provide an overview of audience health, along with their likelihood to open, and we can drill down in each prediction. Let's go and take a look at the one. So on this card email open prediction, I'm going to go and click on View Details. And here, down the bottom, we can see the top 5 negative and top 5 positive correlations. Now, the correlation measures how 2 variables are related, as well as the direction of the relationship. For example, a positive correlation for Android and email opens means that Android users have a strong likelihood to open your email. The effect size that we see in this column here indicates the relative strength of a correlation. We can also choose to view all the predictors influencing a specific behavior by clicking on this link here. And here we can discover reasons that are causing subscribers to become more or less engaged. Like, for example, what do we have here? Email name, for example. Let's now review some typical use cases for Einstein engagement scoring. Once you have these predictions on how your customers are going to engage with your brand, you can send targeted offers to nurture their behavior. For loyalists, you might want to send special offers and deals to keep nurturing your relationship with them. Or you may want to consider targeting selective shoppers with known affinity campaigns and action-orientated subject lines. You could also encourage window shoppers to click with personalized offers and incentives. And you may want to win back dormant subscribers through re-engaging them on a different channel or offering an opt-down option. You can also use Einstein engagement scoring to drive return on investment by sending targeted campaigns to subscribers who are more likely to open or who are predicted to be highly engaged and have a strong propensity to buy. You can also identify the best channel for your audience, so you can send an email to those who are likely to open or reach contacts using different channels who are less likely to open emails. You can even use Einstein engagement scoring to identify subscribers who are likely to unsubscribe and suppress them from email sends. Remember, all the data that you need is delivered to your account every day. But how can you apply Einstein engagement scoring in your customer journeys? Well, the Einstein split activity in Journey Builder enables you to route contacts through appropriate segmentation paths based on Einstein engagement scoring data. And there are 5 Einstein split options. Persona split is based on a subscriber's Einstein engagement scoring personas. Conversion split is based on their likelihood to make a purchase, download content, or complete a form on your website. Email click split is based on their likelihood to click on a link. Retention split is based on their likelihood to continue as a subscriber. Email open split is based on their likelihood to open an email. To use the activity, simply drag and drop it to the appropriate location on the journey canvas. Finally, let's take a look at Einstein's send time optimization. Einstein's send time optimization for Journey Builder enables marketers to send an email at the right time for each subscriber. It does this by analyzing and predicting the optimal engagement time for each subscriber to maximize open rates and engagement. And it helps place an email in an email inbox above the fold to capture attention. Additionally, it removes the guesswork for determining the optimum send time. So, how does Einstein's send time optimization work? Well, firstly, Einstein analyzes 90 days of contacts' email engagement and behavioral history, that is, sends, clicks, and opens from individual subscribers. Note that a full 90 days of data is not necessarily required. Contacts will be modeled after one engagement event, but obviously more data will result in a better model. The model analyzes an individual historical send hours and engagement patterns to establish relationships between the user and their send times. Open scores, which is a score that conveys the likelihood to open, is calculated for all 168 time slots, that is 24 hours by 7 days. The higher the score, the higher is the likelihood to open. Send hours that have higher open rates will likely have higher scores. In the event that send hours aren't sufficient for a subscriber, individual engagement hours are used for recommendations. Note that intentionally, only commercial sends are analyzed, not transactional, as transactional sends typically have much higher open rates and skew the model. Send time optimization data is updated daily, and optimal send times for model inference are recalculated weekly. And you can activate the send time optimization from Marketing Cloud setup. Note that you will need to allow at least 72 hours after activation. Now, I just want to mention some considerations for using Einstein's send time optimization activity in a journey. If the email is a time-based offer, like a 24-hour flash sale, then you may not want to postpone sending the email. However, you can actually control the optimization window from anywhere between 2 to 168 hours, based on your use case. Or, if the subscriber is new, for example, you're injecting new contacts into a welcome journey, then you probably won't yet have any email engagement data for those contacts. However, if you do include a send time optimization activity before the email activity, Einstein will apply a generic optimization model. Now, I've covered several Einstein features available today, so now let's look at what's coming next. But before we do that, I'm just going to touch on one other topic. That's the Einstein send time optimization dashboard. So in addition to the send time optimization activity in Journey Builder, the Einstein send time optimization dashboard lets you visualize optimal predicted send times by the day or hour for all email attendees addresses in a Marketing Cloud account, or for all contacts in a business unit. Here, you can find out when messages are likely to be opened and when Einstein recommends sending to contacts. To access the Einstein Send Time Optimization dashboard, select Einstein Send Time Optimization from the Einstein menu in Marketing Cloud. Here, you can view optimal send times by day or by hour based on how many contacts or email recipients are predicted to open the message you send. And you can also view the optimal send times across the days and hours in a week. Knowing the optimal send time can help you choose the best time for batch sends. Now, let's go and have a look at upcoming features. Before I do need to remind you that Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and you need to base your purchasing decisions on products or services that are already available. So let's take a look at a few roadmap items that we can expect to see this year. Firstly, you can expect to see several significant interface enhancements to the Einstein engagement frequency dashboard in an upcoming release. And similar to the existing split activity, an Einstein engagement frequency split activity for Journey Builder will be available this year. And you can also expect to see that Einstein engagement frequency will be optimized at a subscriber level rather than a business unit level. Additionally, Einstein engagement scoring, split activity, and send time optimization for mobile push is also slated for an upcoming release this year. And finally, send time optimization activity analytics are also planned for an upcoming release. And this will enable users to identify how many contacts and which contacts are held in a journey, and when they'll be sent messages. Well, I'm sure you'll agree that these new features will be a very welcome addition to Marketing Cloud. Well, thank you for attending this session today. I hope you now have a better understanding of how you can use these intuitive features to gain engagement insights and predictive segmentation across your marketing campaigns and programs. Well, we now have plenty of time for questions, and I see that there are already some great questions flowing in the Q&A panel. So at this time, I'm going to pass back to John McGinley, who is one of our partners at Cloud Kettle, to moderate those questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Eliot. That was very informative. And like you said, lots of questions pouring in. Not sure we'll be able to get to all of them, but let's take it from the top. I think we did talk about those. If in the event that we don't get to all of them, or there's something that you may require a little bit more of an explanation, we will follow up with the folks post this session. So again, I won't give people's full names. I'll only do my best to pronounce their first name. And the questions really, they range from I think fairly basic to maybe a little bit more complicated. So let's take it right off the top. First of all, Alex asked, is there a way to get a data extension created of those users who are being fatigued?
Oh, so yes, absolutely. So Einstein engagement frequency populates that data extension of all of the users that have that are oversaturated and have a high fatigue. So yeah, it's just automatically populated every day.
Perfect. And before I forget, I meant to mention this off the top. A number of people have asked if this session will be available afterwards. And yes, you've been generous enough to allow it to be recorded, and it will be sent out probably within 48 hours of the end of this session. So for those of you who had asked that question, thank you again for your generosity, Eliot. Another question from Ruben said, is it possible to configure this feature to use subscriber key instead of subscriber ID?
So no, it's not. It's not configurable. However, you can get the subscriber key obviously from a query. So that is by using the subscriber's data view to go and get this return the subscriber key based on the subscriber ID in a data extension. But no, the subscriber key isn't populated in that data extension.
Excellent, thank you. Stefan asked, can those data extensions that are created be used in SQL activities?
Absolutely, yeah, you can use them however you want.
Perfect. William asked, can this work with a wait until functionality to send a message to an oversaturated user at a later date?
Yeah, it's a great question. The answer is yes, possibly, with some additional effort. So obviously you've identified those oversaturated subscribers, and then you could use that to determine perhaps a send time that you want to go and quarantine the sending for. So you'd have to do that through SQL, which would go and populate a date field in a data extension, and you'd then use that data extension in your contact model on a one-to-one relationship to determine what time they'll be admitted to that they'll receive an email and pass that wait until activity.
Gotcha. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Yosef asked, does engagement scoring factor in multi-channel, or is it only for email?
So at this stage, it's only for email.
Perfect. A couple other folks have asked about availability. How about, can external data be added to the model, or the model outputted for external management?
So no, you can't. It's kind of a black box. You can't go and add your own data. However, obviously that raw scoring data and frequency data is available in data extensions. So you can go and extract that, load that into your data warehouse for additional data processing and analytics.
Gotcha. Okay, Mate asked, are the two generated data extensions linked in any population or attribute group? Can I use the data extension for complex journeys based on my attribute group data model?
So I actually haven't checked. I believe they are by default. I believe that if you go into a data designer, that's that constellation view that you'll see. There should be, from memory, an attribute group, and I believe that's created by default. Obviously, if it's not, it's trivial to do so. But yeah, absolutely, you can go and use those data extensions in your journey. But let me think about this, because you'll need the subscriber key in order to create a subscriber key to contact key relationship. So you probably need to write an additional query to do that, unless you want to go and create that relationship based on the contact ID, which is disabled by default, but you can enable that under contact configuration. But I'd say probably the safer way to do is to have a query activity to just get that subscriber key value.
Gotcha. That sounds like it might be a complicated one there. So Ruben asked, can you load pre-existing data from another tool to train this model?
No, you can't. No.
Didn't think. Mirko asked, and this may be not an appropriate question for us to answer, given licensing, but are there different Einstein features typically included in the license, or do they have to be licensed additionally?
Yeah, that's a great question. So both Einstein engagement frequency and Einstein engagement scoring are available in corporate and enterprise editions, and I believe they're a paid option in the professional edition.
Gotcha. So Vikas asked, can segments from Einstein engagement scoring be exported to or merged with Salesforce Audience Studio? And how do we enable that?
Yeah, so the answer is I'm not really sure. I've never used that specific scenario before. So Audience Studio, obviously you're referring to a DMP here. So I can certainly check and get back to you, but I don't have a clear answer on that, sorry.
Oh, no, that's perfect. I think that, I mean, it's a good question, and we'll get back to Vikas on that. So Stefan asked, how does Marketing Cloud determine demographic factors like subscriber city or region? Is this attribute based or determined in some other way?
Well, it doesn't take those attributes into consideration. There's only one other feature, which is the live weather block, which takes the IP address and optionally kind of city and country and zip code. But no, it doesn't use geographic or demographic data at that individual subscriber level.
Thank you. Andy asked, we have supplier data and customer data in our business unit in two different data extensions. Can you have the engagement frequency and the engagement scoring based on specific data extension rather than all subscribers?
So no, you can't. No, again, it's only just works with the subscribers. I mean, look, you could, again, using a SQL query to go and correlate all the distinct subscribers that exist for a given company, and from that, I guess, gain some inferences about subscriber engagement frequency and scoring for an individual company. So again, the raw data is available, but no, it certainly doesn't do that out of the box.
Okay, great. Alex asked, would we be able to get data extensions for engagement scoring audience segments.
Engagement scoring audience segments. No. So the engagement scoring data extension will just show at an individual subscriber level, not by segment. Again, you can, of course, take that data extension, and if you have another data extension with segment data, then you could use a left join to go and I guess filter or group that those subscribers by audience.
Perfect. Another question came in from Ruben. Does send time optimization set the hour of the email send or hour and day of the week? If so, how does this affect an engagement split?
So to answer the question, it sets it sets the hour, which is anything from 2 to 168. And that is, to clarify, it's 24 hours times 7 days. So kind of over the next 7 days. So yes, I mean, it does in effect set the day or hour. The way it calculates it is in these hourly increments. So so what was the second part of the question? How does it affect?
If so, how does this affect the engagement split?
The engagement split activity. That is, so the engagement split activity obviously refers to emails, opens, clicks, and unsubscribes. And actually, that's a fantastic question, because typically, in fact, mandatory, you have to have a wait period preceding the engagement split activity. And yeah, that's a wonderful question, because you need to allow sufficient time for that subscriber to go and open the email. But let me think that. So it actually, it doesn't affect it at all, because you've got an Einstein's, imagine this flow. You have an STO activity, then an email activity, and then then a wait period and an engagement split activity. So the contact will not progress to the wait period and subsequent engagement split activity until they've gone through the email activity. So you don't need to consider like a generous wait time before the engagement split activity. I just typically apply this based on audience, kind of as a guide. Probably wait 3 days for that subscriber to open the email, depending obviously when they'll receive an email, be it at a weekend or whatever. But yeah, there's no special considerations.
Perfect, thank you. Question from Stephanie. How is it possible to see Einstein dashboard data for different customer types? It seems like it only shows you the dashboard data for all subscribers versus seeing trends or suggestions for specific customer groups.
That's right. So at this stage that you can't go and drill down on it. But I think I did mention before that there are some significant enhancements coming to Einstein engagement frequency, that dashboard in an upcoming release. So that's I'm kind of not privy to what additional insights that will be available, but yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully that we'll see. I think it's a great question, and yeah, I'd love to go and see a breakdown of say subscriber audiences.
Perfect. An anonymous person asked, is there any data retention for these two data extensions?
No, there's no data retention policy applied by default. I mean, just bear in mind that they are overwritten and refreshed entirely each time. So it doesn't really, and this is done every 24 hours, it doesn't really make sense to go and apply a data retention policy in that scenario, because it's not persistent storage, right? So they're just constantly being updated.
Great. This one just in from Mikkel. Another send time optimization question. Does STO take into account the expiration for a triggered send in an email message in a journey?
No, it doesn't. No. It is the answer. So the expiration of a triggered send. I mean, there are. I'm pausing because I'm not quite sure what you're referring to with an expiration of a triggered send. I mean, you can have a window in a triggered send. Triggered sends don't expire unless perhaps you've got an exclusion script. But they so again, I'm not quite sure of the context, but they don't take the context of this of the triggered send definition into account.
Gotcha. So I think you've hit a hot spot here with STO, or the send time optimization, because we have one more just pop in from Marcos. And excuse me here, I'm going to try to read this as it's been asked. What happens if I use the send time optimization activity, but only half of the subscribers have a 90 days tracking data? Yeah, that's the first question.
That's right. Yeah. So the answer to that, it doesn't matter. So as I said before, that STO will even work with one previous send for a subscriber. And obviously, the more sends you have, the better the model. And as I said before, if you don't have any sends for a subscriber, then it will go and apply a generic optimization model. Yeah, it's still absolutely applicable, but and will work. So for example, this scenario that you've got a subscriber who's previously received one email, they open that at 1 p.m. Then STO will go and set that send time to 1 p.m.
Perfect. And in fact, Marcos, thank you for responding. So good job. You answered this question, apparently. We're almost at time here. I got a couple more. I think these are quick ones, but maybe I'll let you decide. Another question came in. Does Einstein use engagement data from other Marketing Cloud customers to generate the model for an individual account?
Yeah, absolutely not. So it only uses data from your enterprise, and that's because Salesforce is obviously built on trust, and that data behind the scenes is actually not processed on Marketing Cloud. It's processed in AWS, and there's actually an agreement that's a predictive intelligence clause, I think, in your agreement that gives them the ability to go and process that data outside of the platform, but it's again, only for your specific MID.
Gotcha. So the last question, and I think you touched on this during the presentation, but just for clarification for some folks, if it wasn't clear, if they want to take advantage of these features, how does it get turned on? What's the process by which you get it turned on? Maybe
Sure.
you can just cover that quickly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so for Einstein engagement frequency and Einstein engagement scoring, you can simply go and activate that feature from the Einstein menu. If you don't see those options on the Einstein menu in your account, the chances are that you've got an older Marketing Cloud account that is older than 3 years old. And in that time, you need to reach out to your account manager to have that enabled, and you'll need to go and sign a separate agreement, which is just because that predictive intelligence clause of allowing data processing in AWS just requires a separate signing agreement. So, but if you do, and you should have those features available in your account, then you can simply go and click on the activate Einstein engagement scoring and activate Einstein engagement frequency buttons. And obviously for STO, as I showed you, that's available from the Marketing Cloud setup page.
Perfect. Thank you very much. There's a couple of other questions here. How are you doing for time, Eliot?
Sure. Yeah. We can.
So, and I knew there was bound to be one of these questions, but does Einstein data get deleted if you have to remove someone's subscriber in Marketing Cloud due to CCPA or GDPR?
Yeah, good question. I'd need to go and check is the answer. So in fact, look, we have a little bit of time. So while I'm doing this, it's going to only take me 30 seconds. I'll just go and check whether those data extensions are actually sendable data extensions. So the way that the contact deletion process works is that it goes and removes all contacts and subscribers from the all subscribers list, from the contact model, and also from any sendable data extensions. So providing that they are sendable, and I'll just jump in and check now. I'll just go to Einstein. You can't see my screen, but the Einstein engagement frequency, the two data extensions for oversaturated and undersaturated are sendable data extensions, so they will be removed from there. The predictive scores data extension isn't a sendable data extension, and it does contain their email address. So no, it won't, I don't believe, be removed from the predictive scores data extension. But obviously bear in mind as well that ultimately the subscriber will be removed from the predictive scores data extension, because if they're no longer a subscriber, then when the next time this data extension is refreshed, they won't be included in it. So I think we can safely say, obviously need to be validated, that the records will be removed just by virtue that subscriber or contact no longer exists.
That makes sense. All right, one more, I guess. Does a blackout time for an email send affect send time optimization?
Yeah, well, obviously it's going to impact it, right? Because send time optimization doesn't know anything about that blackout window. So if the way that send time optimization will work is that in a journey, the contact would progress from the S2 activity to the email activity. But if there's then a blackout window, they'll be further quarantined within that email activity and won't receive the email until the blackout window time expires. So yeah, just need to bear that in mind.
Perfect. Last one just in, and I'm going to read this one. I'm not sure I entirely get it, but I will. Is there a way to determine the specific members who have personalized send time? Whoop, hang on a second, I just lost my place there. Who have personalized send time versus non-personalized send time on Einstein send time optimization, and export them into a data extension?
So not at the moment. However, this is coming in an upcoming release. So this is one of the upcoming features that I mentioned earlier. And they've got I can't answer about exporting that data to a data extension. You can certainly, it's definitely accessible and visible from the STO analytics panel in the activity. Yeah, not at this time.
Excellent. Well, Harry, I hope you answered your question there. So that really brings us to the end of the Q&A session here. Any final words before we let these fine folks go?
Yeah, of course, John. So thank you, everyone, once again for attending. I hope you found this session valuable. And please don't forget to join our next webinar, which is scheduled for next week on June 30, where I'll be covering Einstein Messaging Insights and Einstein Copy Insights. And also I'll be throwing in a bonus topic, Einstein Content Tagging. So I hope you can join us again.
Perfect. Thanks again for your time, Eliot, and your extreme generosity. For everyone who attended, thank you so much. As mentioned, this will be going out as a recording to those folks who've signed up, and I do hope that people will join us for the next session.
Okay. Hope to see you next time.
Thanks, Eliot.
Bye.
Cheers.